Welcome, everyone. Okay, here we go. Another entrepreneurship unscripted. I actually made myself show up with energy right there because right before this call, and Nima can attest to this, I felt the exact same thing that we're going to be talking about here today, which is complete overwhelm with everything that's going on personally, business, to do lists, you name it. And Nima, as you said, let me just start with that and allow you the opportunity to talk to me first, and I'll express what I'm going through here right now. But anybody that's joining us really quickly, please like this, share this, comments, please engage in the conversation. Let us know that if this is something that you struggle with as well, because we do these to serve you. And ideally, we're doing them in the moments that we're going through these exact same things. And I can tell you right now that I'm feeling a massive sense of overwhelm right now, Nima. So what do you got for me to help me out through all of this stuff?
You're not alone. Overwhelm basically is my body's way of feedback telling me that I am stuck and very, very attached to the forms and outcomes of my day, rather than really connecting with who I really am and why I'm here, essentially. So there's two parts of us, and there's a spiritual and a material side. We live in a state of duality, and entrepreneurs are dreamers. Right? We're very, very keen on connecting with the dream, the vision, the mission, right? This is what the goal is. We have a dream of our lifestyle. There's a product, service, or an idea that we have that solves a problem for humanity. So it has a spiritual undertone to it. Then when we get into real world day-to-day things, what happens is I then go, okay, there's a to-do list. There's the material, right? So it's this dance between spiritual and material that we don't actually learn the training. We don't get the training in how to dance with. Now, throw in another complicated factor that you're with a partner who's going through their little dance of stresses, and you have kids, and then you have financial pressures. And what happens is our spiritual nature gets drowned out, and we are now stuck in form and outcome, where time becomes very important and space becomes very important. And so overwhelm is a symptom in my life that I am stuck in form and outcome. I'm completely disconnected with the truth of who I am and completely attached to form and outcome, which basically comes from fear of me not being enough, not having enough, and not being enough. And all of them are illusions, and we know that, but we truly get disconnected from a heart space from that when we disconnect from our higher forces. So what does that mean? Well, whether you're religious or you're just spiritual or you're an atheist, doesn't really matter what you believe. We all know that there is some sort of an intelligence to our existence in universe. Let's call it universal intelligence. And it's my responsibility every single day to do whatever I can to connect with those universal forces, with that intelligence. Now, if you watch any sports team, like I always love to use Michael Phelps as an example because he does this little ritual before all of his races. It looks really weird. Or if you're a big fan of rugby, you'll know, because then what happens is if you watch the New Zealand All Blacks, they all get together before every match and they do this ritual kind of war tribal dance from the Maori tribe, from the Maori population. And what they're doing is they're connecting themselves to their higher forces, because what happens is it's kind of like my laptop here. It's kind of like your phone. It just plugs into source and all of a sudden gets kind of tapped into energy, to flow. We have that ability as well. The problem is we get attached to the form and outcome where time and space becomes like real, and we're disconnected from our higher selves, and that controls us versus us being intentional and powerful throughout our day. That's what happens to me consistently every time I neglect to tap into my higher forces. Overwhelm is feedback. Overwhelm is simply your body's way of letting you know that you're out of alignment with your higher self. Now, what does that take for you to get there? Well, some people, whatever, pick whatever it is. Some people do it through prayer. They say, oh, it's the Bible that gets me there. Okay, great. That's fantastic. Good. When they say that and they think that it's the specific book, the holy book that's responsible, I know better. I know it's not the specific holy book. I know it's their belief and perception of whatever it takes to tap into that higher force. Because this person's a Christian, this person's a Muslim, that person's a Jew. They all get that same connection, but they attribute it to the book. To me, it's just their connection. I'm sitting here right now in this office. I'm a chiropractor as well. My friend is taking a 2-week holiday, and I'm working. I'm covering his shift in the office. I see this little Hindu thing, this little Buddhist Hindu thing, as I'm talking about connecting to higher forces. How perfect is this as an example? You see this little image or of a Hindu or Buddhist type of figurine, and he's sitting in a meditative state where he is both giving, like with one hand, giving and receiving, which is a universal kind of truth, universal symbolism of duality of giving and receiving, altruism and narcissism, light and dark, duality, which we are. And so when you're connected to that higher force and you're doing whatever ritual it is, prayer and meditation. This morning, I went to the beach, beautiful Victoria. I went to the beach, I plucked my feet in the sand and I meditated, and I'm like, I'm totally connecting myself to higher forces. That's my version of it. This is what I teach. This is what I do with my students and with my clients. And I feel centered. I feel connected. And also I came here, it's a full day. It's super duper full. It's jam packed. Yesterday I was here and I didn't get much sleep. I didn't meditate in the morning. I had anxiety. I felt overwhelmed. I felt like patient after patient. I was way behind all day, way behind. And I was just like, oh, and I felt the anxiety. I felt this pressure on my chest. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, Nima, oh, what is it? You're disconnected from higher forces. Time is controlling you rather than you being intentional, powerful with your time and space. And today, when I tapped in, it's like freaking night and day. I look in the mirror. I'm even better looking. I'm even better looking when I'm tapping into higher forces. So are you. And so that's why when you look at someone and they walk into a room and you're just like, what the hell? You look like crap. Like, what's wrong with you? Because there's an energetic vibration, feelings and emotions from the heart are perceived almost like 50 feet away. Like you can tell when someone walks in a room, you're like, what the heck? We are receivers and transmitters of vibrational energy, and it's based on our thoughts and our perceptions. And stored trauma in our body will cause us to be stuck in lower vibrational states where we're addicted to form and outcome. We need addictions like sex and weed and alcohol in order to just get us to that higher place artificially, because we haven't taken the time to connect to our higher forces and get us back into flow-like state. It's feedback.
Yeah. So
for about 10 minutes there.
I know. No, it's great though. It was that you actually calmed me down just talking through that right now.
Here's the other part I just realized. What I got is that as a coach, as a chiropractor, as a healer, if I take the time to bring myself into a balanced equilibrium state, simply by being in the room with me, my patients here, all of a sudden calm and match my vibration, like their frequency, my whatever I'm giving off, whatever smell that's coming off me, people have been picking it up. Patients are walking out all day today. In the morning, they've been like, whoa, I feel better. Like, wow, this guy's amazing. Like I'm in a flow-like state because I took the time to connect to higher forces, and I'm impacting you just by what I'm saying because my energy is coming through. And I used to be, I'm so against this woo shit, but it's actually true. You can actually feel it. You feel it right now, right?
Yeah, totally. And I'd love to hear anybody that's watching here, whether or not you guys are feeling that same energy right now. And if you can relate to this even too, like seeing that person walk into the room or even being that yourself too. Because and please leave a comment. We'd love to hear your feedback on this. But because Nima, I can tell you, like my day literally started out as your day did yesterday. Yeah. I've been 10 minutes late to every single meeting, and then I'm coming into that meeting with just a little, like I'm pretty good. Yeah, and I'm, you know what, I'm a very organized person. You know this about me, so I'm very easy to adapt to. Like, oh, I got to jump into a meeting and I can pull up my stuff, but there's still a different energy about me that the entire 45 minutes after I'm 15 minutes late of that call, it just resonates.
I feel you're off, and that's just feedback. Overwhelm is just feedback that day. By the way, here's the cool part about it. Tomorrow or just today, everything can change. Okay? Tomorrow, and I'm going to do a little exercise with you to get you out of that right now. This is what I do with my clients. This is now what I do with myself. So we're going to save your day. We're going to save your day today. Okay?
I love it.
Everyone here is going to watch. Everyone here is going to watch, because your life is determined by your mindset and heart set. That's it. That's what I've just discovered. My entire life. So that's why when you started your ESM program, after a few weeks, you reached out to me. You're like, it's going great, but everyone's having mindset issues. I'm like, you can't have a business or an entrepreneurial program without doing like 80%, because it's an 80% mindset issue. It's a belief in myself. Okay. Yeah. I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I left the office in a shitty situation. It was terrible. I'm like, I'm leaving. I'm going to go to the beach. I'm going to do some breath work. And what happened was I took my earbuds and I walked out. And so all day yesterday, I was looking. I was just like, God. And I did my breath work. I did my meditation on the beach. I got myself back into center. And then I'm like, oh, crap. I don't know where my, the little the earbud docking thing that Apple has. I lost it. I was like, oh God. And then immediately I shifted my mindset and I started tapping into my subconscious mind. I'm like, I'm going to find it. I'm going to find it. I started visualizing and feeling the feelings as though it's here. I slept. I didn't have them with me, and I usually have them. And I love these things. And I'm always listening to podcasts or books or whatever. So I love these things. So I was really sad. And I decided I left them on the nightstand, and I just about to leave. And then I thought to myself, no. I am going to act and be as if they're there. So I go and grab them and I put them in my pocket, and I'm like, I'm going to find them in the office. I called them on the way to work. The staff at the front are like, no, I can't find it. I'm like, no, it's here. It's here. I just have absolute certainty. So I walked around to each of the staff members. And then when I just about gave up, someone was like, oh, by the way, you left this yesterday. And I just grabbed it. I'm like, oh, thank you. And I was just like, of course, because I was in a flow-like state, and I absolutely was intentional with it and doing an exercise, which I'm going to take you through. And I'd like for anybody who's watching right now to just sit comfortably. And this is how you overcome overwhelm. You cannot outthink it. You cannot outthink it and go step 1, step 2, step 3. No. You're basically...
But I'm analytical, Nima. I can figure this out, can't I?
You're nervous. It's not a doing thing. It's a being thing. It's because your nervous system is in fight or flight, and you're holding on to stress in your nervous system. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the breath, and we're going to use the thoughts and focus to shift that overwhelm in literally 10 minutes. And then we're done the call. Like, we're done this. This is going to be the episode of the century. If you
let's do it.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'm going to get you to close your eyes and take a deep breath. And if you're listening, I want you to follow along, because this is pretty darn important, and see how you feel later. So take a deep breath in, and when you breathe it in, starting from your diaphragm, bringing it all the way up. And when you breathe out, don't force it out. Just let go. Surrender the breath. Like, it's got to sound like this. Now breathe from your mouth. You don't breathe from the nose. Just good. And as you continue, exactly, you breathe, just let gravity, just let it go. Exactly. And now as you continue that breath, pay attention to how your body feels. Take a look and notice how much tension you're holding onto your face. Continue to breathe exactly as you are. Good. Notice how much tension you're holding onto your face. Notice your jaw muscles. Don't change them, just notice them. Don't make it wrong. Pay attention to how much tension you're holding on in your neck and shoulders. We're attuning you into your body. Pay attention now to any anxiety or stress that your body is holding on to, any alarm, and notice where it shows up in your body. And if you're feeling any emotions come up, don't hold it back, because this breath work is actually pushing anxiety, stress, even anger. The breath actually pushes it through. Exactly. Continue just like that. Any emotions that come up, Trevor, notice where they're at. Notice where you're holding on to alarm in the body, and just look at it while you breathe through it. Keep breathing. Good, exactly. Any emotion coming up, let it come up. Feel it. Good. You're attuning. Notice any of the tension in your traps, in your face, in your upper back. And as you breathe, surrender your whole body that goes along with the breath. Let everything continue with the breath. Keep breathing. Good, exactly. Now become aware of where you're sitting as you're breathing in respect to where you are in the room. Orient yourself now where you are in the room and in the home that you're in or the office that you're at. Observe the breath. Observe yourself breathing consistently, rhythmically, surrendering on that exhale where you're sitting in the room. And zoom out like Google Earth as you're breathing with that breath where you're sitting in the city that you're in. Can you observe now, Trevor, the breathing, the breath work that you're doing from the spot that you're in, zooming all the way out like Google Earth, all the way to the moon, and observe yourself breathing consistently, surrendering that exhale, watching yourself from the moon. Good. Keep breathing. Nice inhale, breathing out, and watch yourself from the moon. Zooming out even further beyond the solar system, beyond Neptune, Pluto, and all the stars of the galaxy. Even further from the Milky Way, observe yourself breathing from that perspective. Good. You are now in timelessness and spacelessness. You don't know what 10:30 is. You don't know what 12:30 is. Time doesn't exist from that realm. That's who you truly are. From that place, as you're continually breathing, continue to breathe, I want you to now set an intention for your day. Connect to your higher purpose and your vision of what you want to accomplish for your team, for your family, for your team, for the community, and for the planet while you breathe, and observe yourself from beyond the Milky Way galaxy, looking down. Who are you wanting to become for yourself, your family, your team, your clients, your businesses, the world? What impact that you want to make? Feel the feelings as you breathe. Who do you want to become when you open your eyes? Feel it. Feel the gratitude for your breath. Feel the gratitude for that impact that you're making already for your family, for your friends, for your team, for your clients, all over the world. Feel it in your body. Feel the gratitude as though it's an already established fact, as though it's already happened. Good. Now, I want you to think of people who've helped you along the path, on this journey, on this climb of entrepreneurship that you've been on, while you continue your breath. Good. Deep inhalation. Feel the people's assistance. Think of all of the people who've helped you on the path, that you wouldn't have been able to be here without them. Feel that gratitude. Now, set an intention for the rest of the day of who you would love to show up as for every single person that you meet, who, by the way, is struggling with that same overwhelm, who's dealing with a lack of connection with themselves, who's holding on to stress and trauma in their bodies, who's disconnected from their family, whose relationships are breaking apart, who feels low self-esteem and is doubting themselves. Who are you wanting to show up for them as, Trevor? Feel that. Set that intention for the rest of your day. And now feel as though it already has happened, the gratitude as though the day has gone exactly as planned. And when you're finished, you can open your eyes. That was less than 10 minutes.
It was, eh?
Did you feel, what was your perception of time?
Yeah, that it felt a lot longer, but also quicker. It didn't really exist.
It's the paradox. It's the paradox of time. It's what you just went into is what I call Einstein time. It's the theory of relativity. It's quantum. When you go, because time is an illusion. If you go on outer space and you look at the planet from the moon, tell me what half an hour is.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
It's the eternal now. And so overwhelm is feedback that you're out of that. And the good news is it's accessible if you have the right guide.
Yeah, I can tell.
How do you feel?
Yeah, I was going to say, I can tell you that like this room that I'm in right now is incredibly hot because I closed the window right before we started this, turned off the air conditioning. And when we first started, I'm sure people can probably even tell too, like I was starting to sweat. I do this when I start to get stressed out, like I rub my forehead, you know? Yep. These are just telltale signs that I'm starting to like feel that tension. And as you were doing the breathing exercise with me, it got cold in here. Like I could feel it, like a chill almost. And I still feel it, you know, like the room seems like it dropped 10 degrees in temperature. And yeah, it is. And I actually, right before we started this call, Nima, because I know the power of breath. I don't practice it on a regular basis, and obviously not to the extent of what we were doing here, which was amazing. But I've found myself, even before we hopped on this call, just stopping myself and going, breathe, you know? Like sometimes we want to, and that was the thing, like whenever I line up these Facebook Lives, it's always what I'm going through. And I write all these things and I have intentions on what I'm going to say. And what we're going to talk about and that type of thing. But I feel like the best example. Sorry?
Emergence. It's coming through you instead of
instead of trying to force it. And the same thing is with your breath. Like, there's no magic 10-step formula to overcome the overwhelm. It's literally stop yourself, breathe, and be grounded in the fact of what you're already creating and all the amazing things that are going on. Because when I sit,
I'd be curious to know how the rest of your day goes.
Yeah, well, I already have like an intention on how I want to show up in the rest of the day. Because, you know, previous to us hopping on this call, it was, oh shit, here we go. You know, I got 6 more meetings and I still got to squeeze in these 3 videos, and oh damn, I got to rush out of here at such and such a time and go pick up Logan. Like,
so let's do this. Yeah. Let's do this. The goal and the intention of this call was to talk about overwhelm. We gave a great example. You are the perfect entrepreneur as the example. I'm sure anybody who's watching right now, you'll be able to see that yourself and Trevor. I mean, I'd love to see any comments. How many of you can actually see yourself in, see yourself in Trevor? I mean, how do you see it? How do you see, like, I see myself in you, Trevor. When I'm watching you and all of that, that look on your face when you hopped on with me and you even messaged me earlier today, some of this shit that you were going through, I was like, I get it, bro. I get it. And there's no answer that's outside. Tell me what to do. And it's like, no. We're not, this is not a doing thing. We're going to get into a state of being, and then you're going to tell me what the answer is. You're going to tell me what the rest of your day, the outcomes of your day are going to be, because the answer is within you. There's no guru outside of you that has any more knowledge of you better than you. There is a wise individual within, and it's just, you just got to learn how to get access. That's it. I've been studying and obsessing with access to that inner guide instead of the inner critic, because if you don't find the inner guide, the inner critic takes the steering wheel and says, F you.
Yeah, there's Liz popping in saying, I get it. I had it right before this. Yeah, I can relate, Liz. We talked about a week ago. I know what's going on for you too, but hopefully this has been helpful for you to see me go through it and to even do this exercise. And the beautiful part about these Facebook Lives, Nima, is of course these always get recorded. So I'm going to go back and watch this, and I encourage everybody here to do the same, and anybody watching it on the replay. Take a moment in your day, take a breath, go through what we just went through right now. It could change everything in the way that the rest of your day ends up unfolding. So Nima, thank you. Let's wrap it up. Let's keep it short and sweet this week.
Big love to you, Trevor, and big love to Sharm and the boys. And I can't wait to have our next session together.
Sounds good. Thanks for being here, everyone. We'll talk to you again soon.